Good morning. Welcome to Market Day Report, and welcome to a Thursday as we work our way through this week. And a weekly export sales report out this morning. We'll have some details from that in a moment. First off, how did markets trade in the overnight session? We'll start with the corn market. Was a little lower. December down 2 3/4 cents, 435 1/4. March at 446 1/4, down 2 pennies. Soybeans, higher. January contract moving 3/4 penny higher, 996 1/4, and the roll into the March contract at 1003 1/2, up 3/4 cent. What about overnight trade for soy meal? You can see there mixed, and soy meal and soy oil was lower in the overnight session. All right, now to the wheat markets. July contracts, those are our new crop contracts in Chicago, 580 1/2, penny higher in Chicago. And for hard red, July 580 3/4, penny and a half lower. And in Minneapolis, March contract front month at 605 1/2, penny and a half lower. Cotton market, could it find positive territory? And the answer, yes, 70.29 on the March, up 14. All right, we bring in Brian Hoops, Midwest Market Solutions. And Brian, we talk nearly every day, and almost every day, export sells at the top of the list.
Well, especially this morning, because we do have weekly export sales report out this morning, Tony. We also had a lot of news, such as Conab updating their production numbers out of Brazil. Very minimal changes as far as corn and soybean numbers, so probably don't even really want to talk about it. It won't be much meaning there. We also had big tender from Saudi Arabia as far as wheat goes. Some estimates from the Rosario Grain Exchange increasing the size of the Australian wheat crop. So some minor world numbers, but we had export sales talk about and a private sale to talk about this morning. It's the first time since a week ago last Thursday that we've seen a private sale, and this time it was 334,000 metric tons of soybeans to an unknown destination. And likely that unknown destination is going to end up being China. Just in this export sales that we saw this morning, China bought 25.9 million bushels of U.S. soybeans, including 14.9 that was switched from that unknown destination. So it's a likely that this morning's sales will end up being China. Overall, soybean sales were down from the previous weeks. They weren't bad. Let's see, they were 43.1 million bushels. Corn was 37.3, and wheat 10.7. So nothing outstanding or great. Slowing pace down from the recent weeks that we've seen a lot of these sales. Next week's report looks to be slow as well, because we've only had this private sale announcement this morning, and that's 334 million tons once again. So markets here, trying to find some footing. Soybeans have tried to hold around this $10 March area, $10 in the March contract. There is some forecasts that are talking about drier weather to end December for Argentina. And I think if the trade wants to believe those forecasts, we'll see soybean meal bounce off of these contract low areas and start to rally and be the upside leader. So, I'm telling clients, watch that meal market. If that really starts to take off and rally, it means that the trade is starting to believe these weather forecasts that have Argentina drier than desired to end the month. But until then, weather forecasts still look very good for Brazil, and for the most part, good for Argentina.
Brian, we often talk about the sell side of this, but the actual shipments pretty important as well. And quickly, corn, the actual shipments, marketing year high, 1.183 million metric tons. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back in a moment. We'll talk livestock futures. Market Day Report continues after this. Welcome back to Market Day Report. We did see cash cattle moving earlier in the week at 191 in the south, and seen some 300 develop in the north as far as dress. So we'll pick that story up a little later. Right now, the story of how the market closed yesterday. Live cattle futures in Chicago were On the higher side, December up 240 at 192.25. February most active 191.37. That was up $2.35 a hundredweight. Over onto the feeder side, it was higher as well. January 259.05, $1.72 higher, and even rolling out to August 264.75, $1.87 higher. Then over to the hog trade, hogs have been up over 22% year to date. And the front month, 57 higher, 83.50, with February now the most active at 84.37, dropping 20 cents. All right, looking at the export numbers for beef and pork, Brian Hoops is with Midwest Market Solutions. And Brian, I don't know, can we add the numbers from this marketing year to next marketing year? A little different than the row crops, where the marketing year is split halfway in the calendar year. But can we combine those two?
Well, I think we're going to want to if we want to make a decent export sales report this morning. Beef sales were 11 million tons for 24 and about 5.4 for 25. So we combine them. It looks on the paper anyway, it looks decent. Shipments were 15.1, pork sales 22.5 for 24, 4.6 for 25. And again, decent numbers, not game-changing type numbers or anything. And shipments were 33.8. We did have some cash cattle trade developing. Probably better than expected on a dress basis in the north. 300 was a lot of where the trade was. That's up $3 from last week. And we've had back-to-back 200-point gains in the front 2 months. December and February, both on Tuesday, Wednesday, 200-plus point gains off of this cash news. Southern Plains, a lot of that trade was on the Fed cattle auction. Some of it was at 191, steady to $1 better, still looking maybe for a little bit more trade to develop. But overall, the cash market's pretty friendly this week. I don't think we're going to put 200-point gains on again this week, especially now that December has gone over the cash. It was a discount to the cash at the beginning of the week. We're premium to the cash. Don't expect any deliveries yet, but if we continue to gain over the cash markets, that's when you can think about some of these deliveries against December futures. We did not have any last night, by the way, and I don't think until you get maybe $2 over where it'd really be that type of a threat. But big gains here in the cattle market nonetheless, and might have a little bit more, but I know there's a lot of producers interested in doing some hedging as these cattle markets get into some new high territories in a lot of the contracts.
Well, we'll know a whole lot more tomorrow, so come back and see us, same time, same place. Brian Hoops, Midwest Market Solutions.